Welcome back to the last energy tips in 2019. My name is Jona Bryndis, and thank you for supporting the transCODES Patreon channel. Thank you for being a heart warrior, and thank you for participating in the 10-day challenge. I hope you guys don't mind that I shared this premium content here this time with the 10-day challenge participants. We are right in it. The future is there, guys. It's on. All right, the title for this energy tip here for the 22nd till the 28th of December is Manifest Destiny. Don't miss the train. All right, so what is this missing the train urgency feeling that is coming up in all of us? It has to do with this new code, new manifestation code, and some of you have been feeling this in the last couple of weeks. It's like opening up a time capsule. And with that also comes this rebirth energy, okay? So it's a deep, deep healing that is taking place in a way that is very difficult for our mind to understand. It's way beyond our mind. Only the heart can understand this. Now, astrology can deliver a few tips here for us, and that is when these same constellations or similar constellations, or when the beginning of these constellations started, so that we know what to look at. So you're looking at a time capsule here that started for you in 2001, that got renewed through new issues in 2010, and that you have already experienced during the last summer solstice 2018. So you see there's a replication of a theme, and that is very important to keep in mind when you're looking at some of the things that you're going through right now. It's the completion, it's the ending, so that you can start all over again, so that you can open new doors. The train is leaving the station so that the new train can come in. And the problem with this right now, and this is all amplified through the solstice energies and this very, very powerful solar eclipse that is coming in here on the 25th, 26th, depending on where you're at. These energies are all about the self-mastery of your own thoughts and your own emotions, your judgments and your desires or gratifications. Basically, the mouthpieces of your ego. And it shows us our mental schisms right here. Those of you who went through the reboot detox with me, guys, this was very challenging, much more challenging than expected. Yes, and it was emotional. Oh my God, yes, me too. All right, but the cool thing is, though, that out of this awareness, we can form new goals and finally resolve some old karmic junk that we've been carrying around with us, all here now with the tools to implement a more aware, a more fulfilling, a more abundant future. The only mistake that you can do right now is to numb yourself out, to check out, to not pay attention to what is coming forward. You have to be willing. You have to be open for new strategies, for new attitudes towards yourself and the world at large. Right? The main question right now is what we have learned in these last 18 years. And, what has been coming in here in these last 9 years for us that wants to be brought into 3D. This is a last minute reminder, guys, a reboot, all right? And it asks you to step into your full self-responsibility, not the kind of responsibilities that you've been taking on through sacrifice, through trying to comply or conform or false self ideas. This came out very clearly in the Karmic Collective clearing last night. This was all about us holding on to the past because we've invested so much into it, we've sacrificed so much into it, and that one you need to be willing to let go of. So go with these solstice energies here of this day, yeah, that bring in new beginnings. Start the 10-day challenge if you have been considering it. Is not too late. Today is the first day, and we have a 24-hour window here to complete the daily task, and it's all about accountability and self-responsibility. That is the main purpose of this 10-day challenge. So hurry up, guys. Don't miss the train, no matter what it is. Know where you are standing right now and make the leap. I mentioned this in the Truth Talk here today, that I've never seen so strong abundance codes coming in. Many of you have been feeling this. This is really, really important to understand what it is that is coming in there for you. Everything wants to go into a higher expression. Everything wants to come into this higher vibratory reality that you are able to choose. But you have to make that a conscious choice. The collective issues that are going on right now with law and order, with power, the abuse of power, all these things are coming to a collapse, to a reorganization. I've been talking about this for years, all right? And yes, we're going to see a lot of this misuse of power in the collective, politically, financially, and so forth. But guys, look at your own misuse of power. How have you been using your powers, your empathy, your energetic sensitivity for projection, for manipulation? This is all part of seeing truth and recognizing what your own integrity is. Have you been compromising your own integrity because of your trauma, because of your past, because of the stuff that you have been sacrificing for? This new paradigm that I always talk about, this higher vibratory bifurcated reality, all right, that we are all co-creating right now, is not based on the sacrifice of love, is not based on all these old schisms and dualisms that you've been spoon-fed with. It's based on truth, true love, true compassion, true coexistence. All right? So our job here as awakening souls is to recognize that with ourselves awakening and with ourselves making this choice right now at these crossroads, that we are the change, one soul at a time, guys. It is the collective soul of humanity that is awakening right now, and we are the pioneers of that. Future doesn't just happen to us, guys. We are being pulled into our future, and that is good so, because that reminds us on this big, big difference between us and, other living, beings here on this planet, the ones that have sentient life in it. We have a choice. We have the ability to, due to the power of our consciousness, to choose the higher or the lower expression. And in the detox, we've discussed this here because this is what came up for us. We can see our lower and our higher decisions, if you will. And that is now our task. Not trying to be perfect, not trying to conform, not trying to compete or, be better than others. No. To choose our own truth based on this higher expression, this higher integrity in us. So next week, guys, is going to be a turbulent week. I can promise you this. And the main aspects, there are many aspects right now, they're all bunching up here in this week, are coming in through the energies of our fourth and our sixth chakra, our heart awareness and our ability to see truth, 2020 vision. All right, this is what the solstice has opened up, and the eclipse is opening up the new views and the new perspectives, the new contextualization. And that is our fifth and sixth chakra here at the same time, with our second chakra, our pain. So the fifth and sixth chakra brings in true vision and the expression of that. We're going to be talking a lot about this here in this next week, because this is what all this awakening is about, guys. It's the preview, the summary, the task, the everything that you are consciously observing or witnessing here in this next week. And collectively, the way this is going to play out, the use and the abuse of powers, the dualities of all these different aspects, spiritual freedom versus religious fanaticism, new frontiers, innovations versus financial dysregulation, trust in self versus self-responsibility, enragement, social unrest, all right, versus emotional regulation, internal and external alertness versus missing the train versus checking out, abundance, these abundance codes that I talked about versus externalizing our powers, reconciliation with the old, with all the karmic collective, the karmic family, the karmic relationship stuff that we've been carrying around for these last decades, and the imprisonment of collective gaslighting versus self-responsibility versus conscious decision-making and self-mastery. Oh, this is going to come forward here more and more. And in this week, it's just going to be a grand theater. Watch it. You don't have to be scared of this, guys. There is so much support that is coming in for those of us who choose truth. And I'm not just talking as a spiritual visionary here. I'm talking science. I'm talking the meaning of consciousness development and the evolution of the human consciousness that we can measure. We might not be able to measure the energies itself, but we can measure the effects on people, guys, and you can learn how to do this too. This is what I mean with truth training. So let's look at the effects here on ourselves, on the physical, emotional, mental, social, spiritual, and energetic level. Physical symptoms that I'm expecting for this next week will be teeth, gums, jaw, and especially eyes and ears. All right, and part of this this physical sensation, of seeing truth, expressing truth, manifesting truth, speaking truth, has to do with where do I belong? Where is my home? And remember what I said about those abundance codes, all right? They allow you to tap into a higher reality if you are willing to refrain from your ego reality that is inducing, this emotional dysregulation through the feeling of lack, through the feeling of rejection, through the feeling of externalization, all right, which leads to a lack of self-love and self-care. So your job in this next week is to stay absolutely in your center and to balance your inner dualities. Maybe it's a good time for you this week to do the detox that we've done, and you can link into the forum and add to the thread there if you're doing your detox a little delayed. It's a perfect timing here, the last days of the year. Emotionally, this emotional dysregulation, this like us being pulled into our anxiety, into our resentments, into rage. There's a lot of rage right now in people, like over all these lost hopes of being betrayed to, of being lied to, and all this coming forward, right, needs to be balanced out. Understand that this has been a coercion, all right? It's collective gaslighting that has coerced us into believing all these things. And this is what leads to violence and lashing out in people. Truth is the only tool that can help you with this, to witness truth at all times, to be in your center and to really look at where your energy goes and learn how to shift your energy in the moment from a lower state into a higher state. This is what self-healing really means. It means to shift the energy from a lower to a higher state relative to the previous state. So don't be passive here. Don't go into this freeze, this waiting game. You're going to miss the train. I'm sorry if I'm pushing the button here. It's important that you sense this urgency, okay? Trust in yourself, all right? Not in your ego. That is, trust in yourself, not in your ego. Every time you want to go into soothing, into checking out, into gratification, you know you're in your ego. And everything that comes out of that, guys, is going to be linked to your pain of the past. Mentally, this next week will be very challenging in regards to mental schisms in you, the dualisms in you. And if you want to come up with a new vision for 2020, if you want to come up with new goals and what you call them, New Year's resolutions, all right, it's very important for you that you are willing to be open for new strategies, that you align yourself to your true self rather than your ego self. Everything that you hear in your voice speaking to you is a replication of the collective, all right? It's the collective unconscious. It's in form of your critical inner voice, in form of all these pre-chewed, spoon-fed beliefs, all right? If you fall for this, then you're not going to be able to make that leap that is needed now. It's the time for decision making. That's the urgency here on a mental level. You have to call it a shot. Make it happen now, guys. Socially, in your relationships, traditionally, the holiday time is, of course, a bit challenging on stuff like family, and especially for us empaths. Be open for new strategies here. Be open to see things differently, guys. It's going to be rocky through the holidays. Not just in your own families, everybody, you'll feel this agitation everywhere. So it's really important that you go into remembering your own strength, to remembering where the seat of your power, the source of your power truly is. All right, and choose to transcend those things. You'll feel it. You'll have these few split moments of a second where you can choose between lashing out or doing the same thing that you've been doing, or choosing a higher integrity. No more compromises, guys. Times are over. If you compromise your own integrity, you're compromising your boundaries, you're compromising everything, and you get pulled back into your codependencies, into all these things that have led to the betrayal and the disappointment and the rejection in the first place. So let go of that. You don't need to be popular. You don't need to have people's approval. Life is not a popularity test. Do you know what the most valuable advice is that I've ever received on my journey? There was a very good friend of mine when I was 16. He was a bit older than me, almost like a mentor. And he said, Jona, a day where you haven't made a fool of yourself is a wasted day. And obviously I didn't understand what he meant with this, but today I understand it. It's the humility in, being myself. The humility of being myself does not come through wanting to be special, wanting to be better than others. It comes through being willing to be unpopular, being willing to, make a fool of myself. What you'll find out in the process is that you're actually not making a fool of yourself. People will actually see the resilience and the strength in that, and they will turn to you because you are embodying something that they don't have. Trust me on that one. You'll see this more and more happening to you in your personal life over this next year. Spiritually, this is very, very interesting right now. Again, traditionally, this is the end of the year times, the winter solstice brings in this inward momentum. It brings in that reflection and the need for some kind of spiritual connection, redemption. So this month is going to be the Grace Redemption Marathon. I'm super, super looking forward to this, to go into this absolution with ourselves. This comes with the end of the year. It triggers the ego's fear of the end of everything, all right? But it's all right to go there once a year and to look at your own spiritual health. And there is something that you'll discover, and that is like a spiritual emotion. And I want you to pay attention to this. The way you feel about your own spirituality or your own religion, those things primarily, they were conditioned into you. So you have to be careful here to not fall into this gaslighting, also the gaslighting of New Age, that everything is going to be fine if you just sort of spiritual on the outside. This is about being spiritual on the inside, from within, guys. And you can tell me whatever you want. I don't care if I'm unpopular with the things that I'm putting out here, but I know deep inside myself that I'm being true to myself and the divine consciousness that is flowing through me. All right, I don't need absolution from the outside. I don't need any judgments from the outside to tell me this. All right, this is the kind of stance that you need to develop here spiritually. This is your freedom, your spiritual freedom to develop your own values, your own integrity, your own beliefs. This is what we're in for. This is what all of us here, these souls that have incarnated into this auspicious time in human collective evolution, what we came here for. So remember, retrocausality means that we are being pulled into our own future. We are growing into our higher expression. And if this comes to you in religious form, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with religion. There's only issues with dogma and churches and this institutionalized version of this. But the same applies to yoga or to New Age and meditation and so forth. This has to come from within. This got to come from this love for the divine. And then you'll see that meaning and purpose, which is a big theme here for this next week, is all about fulfilling this promise to your divine self, to your soul self, to show up here in that highest expression. And guess what? That highest expression on a spiritual level comes through the love for divine creation, through the love for God, if you will, or the love for grace. And if you feel a lack thereof, if you feel a vacuum there, then this becomes your main task here, to align yourself to this. You don't need religions or churches for this, but it's not exclusive. You can also do it with them. Anything that helps you to recognize the oneness and that we're all in this together. Sharing, self-help groups, church groups, if you will. It doesn't matter where there is a spiritual freedom that is being propagated. Those are communities that you need to seek to find stronger spiritual connection to quench this spiritual thirst. And energetically taken apart, it's all about this freedom that I've talked about, but also visionary freedom, that you're able to have this 2020 vision at all times. And then you're able to feel your truth, to feel what is a higher vibratory solution and what is a lower vibratory solution, so that you know what to do, what to say, where to be at any moment of your life. You don't have to think about things anymore because you can feel it. All times are now, guys. All places are here. Right here within your heart, within your soul. You came here to connect with this. And in that sense, I'm wishing you a wonderful last week of the year. Next week, I'm going to be reporting about January energies that are coming in. We have the energetic tune-up session. If you want to get a reading of your own challenges here for 2020 and January. Come to it. It's an energy clearing session with a live webinar right afterwards. And once more, it's not too late to start the 10-day challenge. Today is Sunday, day 1. Come if you can. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing. Bye-bye.